Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the ultimate modern mansion in Minecraft. Let's start off by walking down the main entrance staircase. Immediately, you will be given two options. Do we go through this double door in front of us or up the staircase to the left? Through the double door here, we will gain access to the under pool brewing area. You can actually see up above you into the pool, so you can see people swimming around and all of the other stuff that's outside too. The staircase that was to the left of us will actually take us into the main living area inside of the house, where we have a TV area, a library, access to the back door, a pretty zen bamboo farm, and a beautiful tropical fish tank. There's even this little hidden away walkway that takes you to a storage area. This is also how you gain access to the pool. Once you're done with that side of the house, we have the other half of the house. Again, we're immediately presented with options. We can either take this staircase here, which will lead us up onto the second level, or we can take this doorway here. This doorway happens to lead us into the mass storage area, which are all compartmentalized into different compartments that will let you more precisely tackle a particular task that you might have. We also have an exit on the second floor that will take us up onto the roof garden. That's right, the roof garden. Continuing along, we could have taken the staircase earlier, but that will actually lead us to this part anyway, which will give us exclusive access, there's no other way to get here, to the second floor. And again, more options. We can walk straight through this door on the opposite side, which will take us to this nifty little roof garden here. Or we can try this first door, and this leads us into a bathroom area that has a shower, a toilet, and a bath, and all sorts of other stuff. Or perhaps this next door here, which takes us into this very modern feeling bedroom. Or alternatively, we can have access to the balcony on the front of the mansion. What more could you possibly ask for? I do hope that all of you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, and you're new around here, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box, and you'll also be notified, so you won't miss a video. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we should probably get this thing started. Let's do this. Now, just before we begin building, everybody, here are all of the materials that you will need to make your ultimate modern house. Please make sure that you have all of those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the build is a 33 by 32 block area as represented by the white grid on the ground. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you feel as though it may help you out. And that's it. Make sure that you've got enough stuff, make sure that you've got enough room to make it, pause the video if necessary, and once you are ready, we can begin. Step 1, my ultimate modern house building friends, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid, if you've made it. Begin the build by placing a black concrete on the ground, and place 5 upside down quartz stairs right of the concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick a black concrete on the end and place 5 more stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick a black concrete on the end and place 5 more stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stick a black concrete on the end. Place 2 quartz stairs in the ground facing inwards towards the build, and then stick a black concrete on the end. What we can also do is gently mark out the next area to the right by placing 2 birchwood planks in the ground next to us, and by placing a black concrete next to the birchwood planks. This birchwood path will lead one way, and of course these stairs will lead another. But the area that we're interested in building right now is going to be the space in between. We want to take this middle black concrete and place 11 glass moving backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want you to then stick a black concrete on the end and extend upwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to extend the 5th block inwards by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can join that 10th block down to the ground. But we have some more things to do also. So we also want to take this 10th block and we want to extend it upwards by an additional 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we want to join all of that down to the ground as well. So eventually, we will create what is going to later on be the entrance area. Additionally, you can take this black concrete block that hit the ground and you can extend it forwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. You then want to extend it over to the right by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Extend that 12th block up and place 5 glass pane going left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then make the rest of this row in particular black concrete, like this. So that is the area that we are currently working with. What is important for us to do now is, starting from the top of the big entrance area, we want to add a row of black concrete underneath the top. We then want to add 2 rows of glass of any kind underneath the black concrete, like this. You then want to add 2 additional rows of black, so that'll be 1, and then this will be 2. And then underneath and inside that row of black, you want to place a row of blue glass. So it'll end up looking like this. You want to extend that blue glass on the left, down by 2, and on the right, down by 2. And underneath, we are going to place block of quartz. So this is underneath all of the glass. The block of quartz can then be extended forwards like so. So now we have that entrance area somewhat taken care of. I'm going to recommend that you add another row of black concrete around and on top of this wall area, and that will conceal the way that you walk up to the entrance, and it will just look a little bit cooler than having everything kind of on deck. Another thing that we are going to do whilst we are in this vicinity is all the way over to the right here, where we placed the vertical row of black concrete. We're going to extend it upwards by an additional row. We're going to connect it all the way over to the left using some quartz slabs. And we're also going to take this black concrete block and extend it backwards by 2 using quartz slabs. 1, 2. Place a black concrete on the end, and then extend the black concrete upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. That third block will extend and connect inwards towards the entrance, and later on this will be a pivotal part of building the back of the build, but that is a good portion of the frame complete. Additionally, if you want to, you can fill this large area in here using black concrete, and then we can carve out some windows. I find it's easier to work with a big chunk of marble rather than little chunks. So this area that we have just filled in, you can create windows. If you start 1 row down from the top on the right here and 1 row away from the side, you can dig out a row of 2, gap, 3, gap, 2. And these windows in particular want to be about 3 rows high. And these are going to take us pretty much, they'll look directly into the main living space inside the house. I have opted to place a library behind these windows, but of course you will be able to do whatever you like. I'm using glass pane to fill them in, specifically blue glass pane. You can use any material that you like. In addition to this, we can even do a little bit of the balcony above. This involves us connecting the black concrete on the left side of the build together underneath the quartz slabs. It also involves us using some birchwood planks to create a floor like this. You only have to place about 3 or so rows of birch to make this work. And then you can connect the black concrete down to the ground. So the row that is just up above us, you can connect it all the way down to the ground, and you can choose whether you want to add all of the windows that I'm adding in, or you can make different ones. You can do all sorts of different things. This row of black up here will actually be a little bit higher, and it will go towards the left. But the windows, I find it's best to place them in parallel to the ones just below us. So that means placing, say, like a 3-block high window like here, starting from the right, and you can see that's above the 2-block wide window that is just below. And then we've got a 3-block wide window here in the middle, the same as down below. And I would also have the 2-block wide window that is 3 blocks high here too. Additionally, I would have an entrance here so that we can get out onto the balcony. You could even place a little bit of glass up above it. And then of course we can just fill all of these remaining areas in with glass pane or block or blue or white glass or black glass or yellow glass. You guys get the idea, right? You can customize this in such a way that these windows can be here or they can't. They can be different shapes, they can be different sizes, different colors, all sorts of stuff. But you can see that that's quite a large bulk of the house complete. You can see where the main living space comes from by doing this. But now that we have done this, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to move on to the side of the house, and that will allow us to make the back and all sorts of other stuff. So I want you to come all the way over to where we pretty much first started. This is where the black concrete block is that started the whole thing. I want you to place 5 upside down quartz stairs moving backwards from the block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black concrete on the end. 5 more stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black concrete on the end. Extend up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Extend inwards like this. Very important that it extends inwards. But we also want to extend backwards by 14, and that's actually the entire row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you want to extend the entire side backwards. I only have one small little window on this side, and it's all the way at the end here. It's actually like right here, like it's a little double window. But you don't have to add that. It just works for the interior that I've set out. You will have seen the interior at the beginning, so you can choose to lay yours out similar to mine, or you can change it, of course. So, from the row of 14 that we just placed, I want you to take the bottom block that is on the ground and extend inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. I then want you to extend towards you by 1, and then up by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can fill this crevice in here using black concrete. The black concrete doesn't want to be 5 blocks high, it wants to be as high as the surrounding wall. But we do want to take this 5 block high black concrete and extend it backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then across to the left by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you want to extend upwards by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then towards you and all the way down to the ground. So it'll end up looking a little something like this. So it's quite a weird shape that we've just made. You can connect all of the floating black concrete down to the ground. There's not really much windows or detail or anything like that on this particular part of the build. And the reason being is that there's a weird mix of things inside here that doesn't really make it appropriate. Although I will point out that there is a 2x2 little glass window here, just in this little crevice, because this is somewhat of a hallway on my build, like that. So, not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but we want to come all the way back up to the very tippity top of this row that we were just working on. It's quite a tall row, isn't it, really? And we want to place 5 black concrete coming across to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And you can join that 5th concrete down to the ground, so all the way down, just like this. Eventually it will hit the bottom, of course, like that. And then from the top, I want to place 3 rows of glass coming down. So this can be any glass, block, pane, whatever. So 1, 2, 3. I always find it so difficult to place these. So hang on, I can never get it quite right. No, there we go, perfect. And then 2 rows of black concrete coming down from there. So 1 row, and then 2 rows, and then another 2 rows of glass. On the inside of my build, I actually have a fish tank that you can see from the outside. But I imagine that you might not place one of those, so I'm just going to use 2 glass pane. 2 rows of glass pane instead of glass block, but I would use block if I was also placing a fish tank on this one too. And then all we have to do is just place some black concrete coming down to the ground, just like this. And that is perfect. That is exactly what we are looking for. And now that that has been done, I want you to come all the way up to the top corner of this black concrete block, the top inside corner. I want you to place a black concrete coming inwards. I want you to then extend down by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are going to extend left by 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like that. And you can actually connect that 13th block all the way down to the ground. And you can extend that 13th block upwards by 1 as well. Add a row of black concrete all the way around the inside, and then you will have this quite bizarre shape. So what else do we want to do here? Well, you can completely fill this entire row in with black concrete. Of course, it's not going to stay that way. We're going to add windows and all sorts of stuff. But for now, you can just fill it all in with black concrete, like so. I would like a doorway here on the left. This will take you out the back. It's going to simply be here. So like just 1 row inwards, we're going to have a double birch door. And you can even place a little bit of glass block above it. Extending to the right of the top of the glass, you leave a gap of 1, destroy 2. Gap of 1, destroy 3. Gap of 1, destroy 2. And you're going to have to place, if you want it to look normal, a row of black concrete along the inside here. And this will actually run parallel to the windows on the front, which means we've got to knock two rows up above them too. So you'll actually see that these windows are identical to the ones on the front, and we can place the glass pane. I often find that in symmetry, in placing windows and certain other parts of the build, it just seems right and it looks cool. So that's why we have these particular set of windows also on the back, just because it seemed like a good appropriate place to put them. So we've got something that should look like this. This area up above us can actually be filled in. You can use some glass pane, because that's actually going to be a walkway that will connect this to this. And we can even connect it now if you like. So basically all you've got to do is we take this corner block here, this black concrete corner block. You want to extend it backwards by 13 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then you can extend inwards, and it will connect, if you create a corner, to this part of the build. So what we'll have should look exactly like this, okay? And you can also connect this black concrete backwards too, because we kind of want to create a bit of a frame. And then you can connect this down. Where these 2 black concretes are here, we're actually going to want to have a walkway. So you can actually repurpose that into birch planks, and you can extend them like this. So if you can imagine, the birch planks are going to run inwards right into the middle of the house. So this is where the second floor of the house is going to be. The house doesn't have an incredible amount of floors, so we only rarely have about 2 of them, and this is the second floor. You can fill this entire middle area in with birch. I actually think it might help you visualize why we're placing certain rows where, and why we're going to be filling certain parts of the house in. I didn't realize how far back this actually goes. You do actually have a decent amount of space on the second floor. I believe that there's 2 or 3 relatively large rooms up here, so you can see now, this is why we're placing all of the birch. You can even connect the front and the back of the house together here as well. So like you can connect from front to back, and you can place all of this black concrete and join and seal up this entire part of the house. There's only one thing on this side of the house, and this one thing is going to be an entrance out onto the side. So we can place some black concrete here. You can connect this specific part of the build as well, front to back, so you can see it's kind of divided evenly in two. On my version of the build, we can join these two interior walls together, as these will create two completely separate rooms. I remember now, it's only 2 rooms, there isn't 3 here. And then you're able to fill the top of this in either with glass, or you can fill it in with black concrete, or anything in between. It doesn't really matter what you want to fill it in with. You could even create some cool looking lines in the black in the glass as well. Like you could add a line here where it makes sense, and also like a line here where it makes sense. And if you divide the rooms up, you could even do like a division here. Like you can do whatever you like. I would just completely have that glass block, but I want to show you that you can freestyle, you can do what you like. And that creates a empty space here, doesn't it? Well, this entire right side can be filled in with black concrete. We don't need any windows on this particular part of the build, this side. There's no windows needed. So now that we've filled that side wall in, we can come all the way to the back. And on the back, I've opted to only have one window. It's going to be parallel to that little 2-block wide window there. So just place 2 rows of glass, and then fill the entire remainder of the wall in using black concrete. Do bear in mind that you can copy the windows there onto here if you so choose. And then you can fill the top of this area in with anything that you like. Perhaps you want to fill it in with glass to create a load of natural light. That's what I love in modern houses. I love to create natural light. I like to leave it as is. Perhaps you want to add some more lines. Perhaps you want to add some quartz slab around the top to create kind of like a skylight sort of effect. Maybe you want to run rows parallel to the windows. You see the separations in the windows. Perhaps you would like to kind of like divvy up the space like this, because it would make sense. It does make the roof look a little bit more interesting, and then of course you could half it again as well. Or you couldn't. Again, choices, choices, choices. So the next thing that we want to do is we just want to add some quartz slab around the top of what we just made. This will add a trim to it, and this will also differentiate this particular part of the house from the large part of the house over here. I mentioned earlier that this is an entrance, so you can place some doors here and perhaps some glass up above the doors, but you can see that if you place the quartz slab, doesn't it kind of separate itself a little bit from the main entrance area? And the main entrance, of course, should also have some doors in there too, just so that you can kind of see it properly. But now that we've kind of like done all of that area, I want to put a little bit more work onto this side of the build before we work on the right side of the build, because the right side of the build has like its own little separate part of the house. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time as well. So on this side of the house, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have access to the pool. There's going to be a large pool on the front part of the house. So we have to connect the bottom of this part of the build together using a row of birch planks. You can even place like maybe another row in front, and then perhaps a row of quartz slabs in front of that. So we've kind of got like a bit of a decking. This area here has to be filled in. So like we can have like a double door, perhaps like here, and we can have some glass block left and right of the double door, maybe even coming up to this wall. And I might even make it, I might make it so that this comes out a little bit more. So I might actually have like another row of birch planks and then quartz slabs, so that it'll actually stick out a little bit better. Because you see here in this corner, we want to create a row of 1, 2, 3 quartz block, and then we want to place quartz slabs all the way around the top. And this is going to frame this particular part of the house as well, because it's important to have contrast in different places, isn't it? You don't just want to have everything turn into one big amalgamous blob That's a good word, isn't it? Amalgamous. It just means everything's joined together. Everything's kind of joined into one. You don't want like one big amalgamous blob. You want things to stand out and separate, especially when they're featured areas. So I'm going to fill the entire roof of this particular part of the building using some black concrete like this. So I can just fill the side in here, and then I can fill the top of this in using black concrete. So here and here, 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 and here. And we also kind of want to create a staircase sort of situation here. So perhaps a couple rows of quartz stairs leading up. I think that this should be good. And then some block of quartz. And this is perfect. This leads you onto the opposite end of the doors there. And then you can place like a doorway just like this. And then if you want to, you could make this row a little bit higher. Or you could chunk it out a bit and place some glass pane around like this. That's looking good. I like that. And what I'd also recommend is having a bit of a hedge around the edge. Right. A hedge around the edge, or something, some sort of physical barrier. You don't even have to do that if you don't want to. It's just I like the idea of having like a little roof garden or something similar to that. But that's this part of the house complete. So just to kind of like put things into perspective, we've got kind of like the main bulk of the living area of the house complete. We've completed all of these sides. We've got the roof garden. We've kind of put a roof on all of this fun stuff here. We haven't connected the front and the back of the house together quite yet, and we also haven't done the dugout part of the house either. But the next part of our journey is to make the remaining living space of the house. That's the next thing that we're going to do. So we're going to take the last and top row of black concrete that we placed here on this side of the build, and we're going to place 7 block of quartz moving outwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to extend this 7th block of quartz forwards by 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then forwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then go down. So in the end, we will have quite a long row of block of quartz. Of course, this can be filled in. So this entire area is going to be filled in with block of quartz. Can you make this area look fancier? Yes, you can add windows where necessary. I might even add a couple of windows myself, although it completely depends how you're going to be using this area. On my version, I have a lot of storage, and the storage is separated into different compartments. It makes sense to put windows where I did on the original version onto this version if you're making it a kind of storage area and you're evenly separating different parts of the house apart from each other. And the window position makes sense if you do it the way that I did. If you're not doing it the way that I did, then it doesn't make sense. But anyway, here's where I place the windows. If you start from the middle all the way over on the left and you leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then place a 3 wide window, leave a gap of 3, 3 wide window, gap of 3, 3 wide window, and place glass pane all the way along the inside. There you go. That's perfect. So that's what you want this wall to look like. I wouldn't make it any fancier because it's actually quite refreshing. You see all of the black over there, all of the darkness, everything that melts together. It's quite nice to have a contrast. So, you know, I wouldn't make it too fancy if it was me. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this upper forwards quartz block to the left by 7 using slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're then going to extend inwards as well. But here's the thing. We actually don't even have anything to latch this onto, so to speak, quite yet. But where it will connect is where the high part of this quartz is right here. I do believe it will connect there. But let's actually give it something to grip onto, ladies and gentlemen. Where the black concrete connects on the floor here, I want you to place 2 quartz stairs moving inwards. I then want you to place black concrete next to the quartz stairs, and I want you to extend the black concrete up as high as the black concrete is on the left. This all sounds complicated, but really, this is all we're looking at. This entire row of black concrete here can be extended towards the back of the build. The entire thing. If you want to give yourself access to this small part of the build, like, if you want to connect both sides of the house together, you're more than welcome to do that, because there's actually going to be a lot of free space in this part of the build where there aren't stairs. But I would recommend keeping this part of the build separate from this part of the build, because it's fun. Additionally, I'm going to connect this part of the build here as well to the back part of the build, so that will completely separate things. You will also lose access to the double door that we created at the back, but that's something that you can easily give yourself access to again later on during the build. So now we have 2 rows of black concrete parallel from each other. All we have to do is place a row of quartz stairs that come up equal to the birch planks that we placed earlier. So eventually you want to raise the stairs, perfect, you want to raise the stairs high enough that you can connect them to the birch, and then that way you will gain access to the second floor. There's actually no other way to gain access to the second floor other than these stairs, unless you change the structure of the house, which you're more than welcome to, but I designed it that way. What else do we want to do? Well, we have to now that you'll notice, by the way, that this quartz slab area connects to something, we're going to make the little room here. So this room, we want to place black concrete inwards from this row of quartz, and we want to extend the black concrete to the left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. And then you want to extend back until it connects to the black concrete next to the stairs. The black concrete is going to be extended up as high as the quartz slab surrounding it, like so, and that gives us this shape. We're going to place a birch door here, one row away from the black concrete here, and then we can have a double glass pane window, which looks quite nice. I'm going to place some hedge directly to the left of this area, like so. And I'm going to connect the birchwood planks in the ground towards where the quartz stairs are. So, here and here, like that. I'm also going to place a double row of birch planks extending from this pathway to this single doorway area. And you can even place like a row of black concrete like around this path leading from the side to the front, like this. And then you can fill this area in with like leaves or flowers or a mixture of the two. I'll be doing a little more of that later on once I actually have some flowers, because you of course can't place them on the concrete. I would highly recommend placing either black concrete or some sort of other flooring material extending from the balcony area inwards. So you could say just extend this black concrete here inwards, just the first part, and then you can fill the remaining area in with whatever. So like, you don't have to have the inside be the same, you can use either quartz or birch or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But the important part is that this is the top of this roof. We want to extend this quartz block area to the left. We want to place 2 quartz stairs. We want to place 3 blocks of quartz coming up from the ground next to the stairs. We then want to place quartz slabs extending to the left from the top of the quartz blocks. And then we want to extend the quartz stairs upwards. We want to place 2 diagonal rows extending in, like this. And then we want to place... It's kind of tricky, so we want to use some quartz block next to these stairs to kind of frame them in. This little part here, this is going to be black concrete. This will serve 2 purposes. So number 1, we're going to have a door directly sticking to the stairs on the right, which allows us to have a window right here. That looks really cool. We want to have some glass pane hanging around the top of the quartz area, and then I would recommend filling the rest of this part in using some birch planks, because that creates a contrast. We've got black, we've got white, those contrast so well against each other. Like, I don't think that there's a better contrast in existence. And then we've got some birch as well, but we've also got some blue glass, so we managed to really use all of our materials. And we can even give ourselves access here to the like little upper garden part that we've created, so we can give ourselves access there. And now you can kind of see how this entire area works. So like, you've got an entrance down here, which gives you like ground level access, or you can come up these stairs and come down around this balcony. That gives you also access to this area. We've got a couple of windows on the side. There's no other way to get into this particular part of the build, and that's actually a huge part of the structure of the house complete, ladies and gentlemen. The next and potentially last thing that we have to do before we start pruning different parts of the build, making it just look nice and stuff like that, we have to dig out a large amount of this area right here. A large amount of this area. It might actually be easier for us to dig out 1, 2, 3. How many rows is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. It might be better for us to dig out this entire area here, all of this grass part. I think it'd be better for us to dig 4 entire rows out of this area and simply work around it, because so much of it has to be dug out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is what it will look like once the entire area has been dug out. Now that'll take a little while. You've got to dig 4 rows down. I'd highly recommend also digging out just where the entrance walkway is and underneath this row of black concrete too. But what I would also do on top of that is I would dig out these walls as well, and I would replace these walls with either black concrete or some sort of other material, because of course we don't want to have dirt walls surrounding us. But not only am I going to do those things as well, but I'm also going to refloor the 4th level. So where we dug 4 rows down, the 4th block down, I'm going to turn into quartz block as well. So I'm going to redo the walls, I'm going to redo the floor, and once that has all been done, ladies and gentlemen, it will make a massive difference, and it will give us a good foundation to build the rest of the house. So this is what the entire area will look like once it has been dug out, refloored, and rewalled. It's a really cool looking area, and this sets us up for the next phase of the build, because this is a very, very important part of the build, and we've got a lot of cool things to do. So once you have reached this point for yourself, we are going to first of all divide this area up. The way that we're going to do it is on the front of the build, we've got a load of black concretes, haven't we, sandwiched in between quartz stairs. This black concrete here wants to join to this walkway that we have here. You can even mark it out a bit by placing some blue stained glass pane on top and placing a black concrete on the end. So a little bit like this. That looks pretty good, right? So this divides this area. And what we also want to do is we want to give ourselves a glass roof to this area on the left. So you want to have 2 rows gap between you and the glass, of course, because you want to be able to walk around underneath it. But this is actually going to be a see-through pool, and underneath here you can kind of have anything that you want. I mean, I have chosen to place like a little bit of a bar / brewing area, but this is how the place is divided up. So here is where a giant pool is going to be. And you can raise up all of these black concretes in between the quartz stairs, and you can actually place some glass pane as well, because that highlights the area, and it also makes it so that you can't just like hop the fence, so to speak. So you can turn this area into this, which will then allow you to place, by the way, now that we've placed that row of black, that will then allow you to place black concrete here and create a wall like this, just like that. And now we've got some more free space, haven't we? So I'm going to join this wall down to the ground here, the one that we placed the blue glass inwards earlier. And you can join this wall down to the ground, like so. Now, this is a staircase area. So here, specifically, we want to be able to, like, walk up. And you can use quartz stairs, or how high do we have to be? So we actually have to be, I'm going to extend these quartz blocks outwards so that I actually know how high we've got to extend the stairs out. So these stairs actually have to be a bit higher, which means we just have to change the glass that we have here. Unless, or we could actually leave it like that, and then we can connect these stairs forwards like this. And this is exactly how, as I mentioned, this is exactly how you get up to the main entrance. So that gives you some perspective there. We want to have a staircase that leads us down onto this part here, which is just, of course, just next to us. And we want to kind of like create a black concrete row just to the just next to this staircase. And we can raise up this black concrete here too, and we can place some glass pane next to it. So you can see how this all naturally forms together, right? And we're actually going to place like a double row of bushes just extending outwards from the upside down stairs, which means that we then want to accommodate those bushes by placing some black concrete around the base of them. So that also gives further shape to what we've just made. If you like, you can place something underneath the bushes, so either more, but you can build up more layers of bushes, or this would actually be like a good spot for a little hidden room or something like that. But you'll probably want to place something underneath the bushes to give it that full look. So there we go, that looks better than what we had before. So now, obviously, the point of this is that we can walk from this walkway up to here. That leads us into the house. But what does that mean for this area? Well, this area, I like the idea of having a raised garden. And the raised garden, we're just going to have a row of quartz slabs here. And we're going to need something that you don't really usually have access to, which is going to be grass blocks. So, or, you know, dirt or whatever you have access to. So I'm going to have a row of grass, and I'll tell you what, we actually missed out on one material as well. We could do with sea lanterns because they provide a bit of light. Sea lanterns behind the grass, and then we want to raise up behind the sea lanterns another row of grass. We want to place some quartz slab in front of it so that it kind of dampens the sea lanterns a little bit. And then we're able to place sea lanterns behind the next level of grass like this. And then grass behind the sea lanterns, up and behind it. And then you can place quartz slabs above the sea lanterns. So kind of like a raised flower bed sort of area. And then we won't really need that much grass again, I don't think. So I'm just going to grab, no, not oak leaves. I want some flowers. So then you can place some flowers of any kind here as a decoration, like this. And it's just like a nice part of the house. Like we're blending some color into some modern. Of course, you can use that little crevice as any number of other things too. You can even modify this area as well to include a little bit more glass. So like where we have all of this black concrete, you can add in a little bit more glass if you like. I think that looks kind of cool. It also exposes the staircase, which I just like. The pool area, as I mentioned, it's a pool area. So I'll tell you what. Let me chuck the birch planks away for a sec. And let me grab the water bucket. And this just has to be completely watered out. And we don't want to have any, there we go, we don't want to have any gaps or anything like that. It doesn't want to flow. And then that just looks quite cool. There's actually only one small feature that we're missing to make this house complete. And the one small feature is the fact, you might not have thought about this, how do you get underneath this pool area? You might not have thought about it, but right here, parallel to this staircase that you would gain access to the front of the house with, I'm going to knock out a double block gap, and I want to create a, what would you call it? I want to create a hallway that just runs along the inside of this black concrete wall. And this hallway will eventually, if you keep digging it out, I promise you, eventually, right? I promise, but I'm not sure if I'm correct. Eventually, we will be able to gain Okay, a little bit further away. We can gain access to the underpart of the pool. So you basically just want to dig your way into this, and there's a vast variety of ways that you can do it. So you can add, like, say, a top here, and maybe it's kind of like a bendy hallway, so to speak. It doesn't really matter how you get underneath the pool as long as you do. If that makes sense. And you can make as much room under here as you like. But I kind of want mine to be streamlined. Like, I only want there to be like a 2-block gap to kind of like walk through, because I want it to feel secret. I don't want it to feel too wide and open, this walkway, because despite the fact it's just down here next to the entrance, I want it to feel secretive. So like it twists and turns in such a way, and we can place some black concrete here too. It twists and turns in such a way that, like, when you find this part, you should be quite happy because it's quite a cool part of the house. And we've refloored it, and of course you want to re-wall it too, and you want to re-ceiling it. I would keep it dark. I would keep it quite dark. Not so dark that you can't see, of course, but I would keep it very, very dark in that, again, it's meant to be a secretive sort of place. It's meant to be an interesting feature of the house. It doesn't matter that we're knocking into the floor of the house here, by the way, because there's actually a raised floor inside the house, which I'll just point out once I have... Oh, I've goofed there. Which I'll just point out in a second. So there we go. It's actually hard for me to see the black. So here. So now you'll be able to see that we've got like a nice encased hallway round this corner, and then you're underneath, which is a really, really cool feeling. And you can either, I mean, you could leave it like that because it's almost a little bit, is it harder to see, or you can point that out using some doors. So like you could do it either way, couldn't you, really? But you could have doors, or you could actually have, or you could see. When it comes to the outside part of the house, there's not really anything to decorate outside, except for the fact that this area just has to be grass blocked, and then I'd place some poppies around. But honestly, in like terms of decoration and stuff, I mean, the house is actually pretty much done. It's an entire empty palace for you guys to decorate exactly how you would like. So, you know, just make sure that there's no gaps in the house. Make sure that there's nothing weird out here, you know. Whoops, when I use grass here. Make sure that there's no gaps. Make sure there's no holes. But honestly, I mean, this is the house pretty much done. The only thing that I do want to show you in regards to this is if we come all the way into the main entrance, you'll notice that you drop straight down. So it's up to you how you want to tackle this. I made it so that my floor was simply level to where these stairs take you in, and then that gives you the opportunity to, say, like, walk down into this part of the house, and it gives you the opportunity to walk down into different parts of the house. So I would simply make my main floor here, and then you can make it all different levels. But that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys, and now that we have kind of like completed all of that, there's nothing more. That's it. So this is what your ultimate modern house will look like once it has been 100% fully completed, ladies and gentlemen. We have done absolutely everything required with the structure of the house. All that is left to do is to fill up the inside, and there is plenty of space to do it. And that's it. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you want to make anything else by me, check out the card system, description below, and the top of the comment section for all sorts of other modern houses that I've made, including some not so modern houses as well. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!